Hey everyone, it's Rabbi Shmuel Pollan. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Hope this is an enlightening experience for you. It was for me when I made this realization. The realization is that money is slavery. There's actually a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. So it should be obvious to us that money is slavery. And I'm going to explain to you why. Elon Musk just bought Twitter for $44 billion. And what did he receive in return for those $44 billion? A huge headache. He paid $44 billion for a headache. Now, he is beholden to all the shareholders of Twitter that have their priorities, and he's beholden to every single user on Twitter who wants to have a good experience, and they all have different ideas about what a good experience is, and they're all attacking him, and because he's the new guy, the new face behind Twitter, and he's very visible, unlike the previous CEO who was more quiet, he's very visible, and so absolutely everyone is attacking him because it's very hard to make people happy. When you do something, everybody has a different opinion about. Everyone has different opinions about everything. So no matter what you do, there's going to be a huge group of people who disagree with you, and that's why I believe that in his profile he says that he's in hell. He's actually in hell. So he said $44 billion to be in hell. So like everybody is running around, and there are a lot of manly men on the internet in the manosphere claiming that you need to do everything you can to fulfill your dream of becoming rich. You have to go after it with all you got. Well, is that really smart? Because let me just explain something to you. If you're going to get rich, that means you have a business. You can't get rich, on a salary. You're going to have a business, and in order to grow the business and to become more rich, you're going to need to have more employees. And then you become beholden to those employees. You need to make them happy. So you become enslaved to your employees. If you become even more rich, your company will go public. And when it goes public, you are enslaved to those shareholders. You have to make them happy. So you have to do things that may not ethically sit well with you. You have to do things that are difficult, that you don't like, to make the shareholders happy. But sometimes what the shareholder wants isn't what the user wants. The user wants something else. And then sometimes the users have more than one opinion, because you have many users, like you do on Twitter. You have many, many users, and you're beholden to all of them. You're trying to make now hundreds of millions of people happy. And when you become president and you think that's the best thing in the world, and that's what every kid dreams to be, that person's got the entire country ready to criticize him for anything he does wrong. Biden will get criticized for anything he does wrong, and he'll have the entire country against him. He'll have an entire country. In fact, even the world will be against him, because a lot of people follow what America does. So the more money you get, the more enslaved you become to other people. The more people you have to make happy. So I ask you, is it worth it to give all you got, put all your eggs in one basket to getting rich? Should we listen to Andrew Tate? Should we listen to David Goggins, Kobe Bryant, and again Kevin Samuels? And it's all about dressing well and getting rich. Does that make sense? Does that actually make logical sense? Because I'll tell you something. The Baal Shem Tov was one of the greatest Hasidic masters of all time, and he put his hand over a certain student's heart, and that heart was warm for the rest of his life. So through the Baal Shem Tov, through the Hasidic master, this guy got a heart that is warm all the time. Now, how much would you pay? How much would you give? What would you do to get a heart that's warm all the time, to be happy all the time? Hasidic Jews are known to be the happiest people in the world. Israel is known to be one of the happiest countries in the world, even though it's surrounded by enemies. Because being happy is not about being successful. It's not actually about being safe. It's about having purpose and meaning. Having a goal that is godly, connecting to your godly soul, connecting to your godly source in God above. If you're connected to God above, you'll be connected with his rabbis, like the Baal Shem Tov, the great mystics. If you delve into mysticism, which teaches you the anatomy of the soul, and you understand how to regulate your emotions, you understand how to interpret situations. You learn to have like a computer in your head that interprets every situation that you see in a godly way. In this way, you will become someone that, like people have said about me, and it's not totally true, but people have said about me that I'm always smiling. Always smiling. And it's in certain things that I do, I am always smiling. I mean, not right now, but it's something that has been said about me. Has it been said about you? I don't think so. It has been said about me that I never get angry. My daughter, 13 years old, said it recently. I never get angry. Has it ever been said about you that you never get angry? Do you know why I don't get angry? Because I have a processing system. I have techniques from Judaism, from Kabbalah, from Hinduism, from Buddhism even. I have techniques that I use to process all the information that's happening in front of me, all the information that I'm getting, and I spit out a emotion that is positive. Whatever way I interpret things, and you can learn more about how to interpret things on my channel, but however I interpret things, that is processed, and that comes out with a happy emotion, and I'm ensure that my heart is stable, my heart is balanced, and I never get thrown off, and I'm not thrown off by things that make me angry. I'm not thrown off by things that make me scared. I'm not thrown off by things that make me anxious, because I have a processing system like a computer. I have a processing system that spits out only positive emotions. I always have a positive result. I always have a positive outlook on anything that happens. It might take me a few seconds. It might take me a few minutes to get my bearings and to remind myself of all the techniques that I can use to be happy, but if the goal is happiness and you're only trying to become buff to become happy, you're trying to get girls to be happy, you're trying to get money to be happy, why don't you just go directly to the happiness? Instead of going through all of those things, which are like almost impossible for most people to get all three of those things, how about having none of those things and not even being that good looking and not having that much money? One of the happiest persons who ever lived was a man who wanted to just serve God, and he had nothing. Absolutely nothing. And he just didn't know what to do because he didn't know anything about Judaism. He didn't know how to serve God whatsoever. And in fact, the Baal Shem Tov, which we spoke about earlier, God said to him, look at this guy. He is serving God in a greater way than you do. Greater than the Baal Shem Tov, the leader of the Hasidic movement. This guy who had nothing, and he knew nothing about how to serve God. So he would roll around on the ground to serve God. He would do jumping jacks to serve God. He would jump into the air to serve God. He would do absolutely anything he could to serve God. He had given away all his money to charity just to serve God because he didn't know how to serve God. At a certain point, he realized he has nothing left to do to serve God. So he took the one coin he had left in his pocket and threw it up to the sky and said, God, this is for you. I'm throwing you my last coin. And you know what happened? A hand came down from heaven and took the coin and accepted the coin of this man. And at that point, he became the happiest person that ever lived. So instead of going through girls, clubs, drugs, money, and relationships, instead of going through the workouts, the practicing of basketball, the practicing of mastering surfing, windsurfing, all this mastery of like these physical things that are supposed to bring you happiness, forget about it. It's really not going to bring you happiness. And what you should do is go directly to the source of happiness. Go directly to happiness. You don't need to go through all this stuff to finally wind up happy. I'm happy now, and I don't have any of those things. I'm divorced. I don't have a wife. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not very tall. I'm not very good looking, but I'm happy. I promise you I'm happy every day because I process things the right way, because I've studied happiness. So doesn't it make more sense if you want to be a doctor to study to be a doctor? You don't go become a doctor by studying law. So if you want to be happy and you want girls to be happy, you want money to be happy, you want health to be happy, why not skip all of that stuff and just go straight to being happy? Go straight to the methods that make you happy. And there are people on YouTube like Sadhguru. I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he's got techniques on happiness. He is happy because he has the techniques in his head how to process information. And listen to me and watch my videos to see how to process information. There are ways to be happy. Go directly to those techniques, and then you can be happy even with poor health, even with poor financial situation, even with no girls. You can be happy now. Just learn the secrets of happiness that you will learn on this channel. Your heart can be warm at all times. You can pray, and you can fall in love with God and fall in love with yourself, fall in love with your own soul. You can be in love with yourself and your soul, and not just a girl. You can have a happiness coming from the inside, not happiness that you get from the outside coming in. So I wish you all true happiness. I wish you all to skip the girls, skip the money. These are all good things that you should have, but you don't need them to be happy. If you want to truly be happy, go higher and higher in your service of God. Accept God's kingship. Accept God's will. Obey God, because He is the infinite source of love. And if you accept God's will, you will have true infinite happiness, and this happiness will, God willing, spill over to everyone around you, and you will make yourself into a true source of light unto the nations, which is what each one of us is meant to do. God bless.